Hi, my friends. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant, a show where the characters are made up and the sorting absolutely does matter. My name is Rachel.
And I'm her best friend and co-host, Lauren. Every other week, we're going to invade a fandom and determine whether your favorite character belongs in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin.
We're the Harry Potter podcast that talks way more about any other franchise.
Here, we use the sorting structure from Harry Potter as a common language without supporting the author or her beliefs. As for the sorting itself, there's bound to be some arguments along the way.
But in the end, we're always right.
According to us.
According to us.
They're singing happy birthday, you just want to lay down and cry. Not just another birthday, it's Andrew's Spidey. Why?
Hell yeah.
Yay!
Woo!
Hannah sang to herself for her birthday. We did nothing.
Aw, happy birthday,
Seems fitting.
Hannah.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Hannah's turning 21, so now she
Yes, she's legally drink.
21.
Mhm. Thor is coming out for her. Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes,
Yay.
coming out.
He's coming out of his cage.
out.
So it's a
doing
good,
just fine.
good choice of words. This movie looks really gay. I'm
From
really excited.
lesbian protector to
It's interesting that you just
Full-on
brought
lesbian.
up a killer's line. Did you know that they are all apparently like Mormon and all of their music has undertones of like Christian rock?
I
This
believe
is a
it.
Why would you
conspiracy
ruin this
theory
shit for me?
That I heard
Why?
on TikTok today that fucked with my head a little bit, and I don't want to be there alone. So now you have to know it too.
Oh wait, it's a conspiracy theory. That's not a fact.
Oh, it's a conspiracy theory?
They are Mormon, I'm pretty sure. Like I don't know why a bunch of TikTok people would say they're Mormon if they're not Mormon.
Were
It's,
they
like, a
Mormon
bit weird.
people saying this?
Maybe. I didn't do any of my due diligence and research this further. Just telling you because you were singing The Killers. I was like, oh, y'all know they're just straight up praising Jesus and all their music?
I was hoping
Very
that you would
interesting.
sing some music from the Andrew Spider-Mans because I feel like it's also a slapping soundtrack as opposed to and they say
It is a good, it's a very millennial soundtrack. I love it.
You're
Yes.
not disparaging that
I
song.
didn't disparage it. I just said that it also deserves its
Could
due.
give you one
credit.
song from the Andrew Spideys, actually. I'm not.
Brandon Flowers
Col-
is Mormon.
There
Coldplay,
you
Till
go.
Kingdom Come, where in the first movie, where
Coldplay's-
he's like,
Brandon
Yes.
Flowers has a deep love for U2, his Mormon faith, and Mike Tyson.
All
why are we still
right.
talking about that?
Jealousy.
You guys are trying to ruin my early 20s. It's okay, I don't remember any of it. Oh yeah, they're right now. Sorry.
Oh my goodness. Hopefully I don't sound too sick. Do you guys think I sound sick? Not
No.
anymore, right? Pretty good?
No, not in the body.
Sweet. All right, just in the head.
She called you head sick, yeah.
It's true.
It's with love.
That's okay.
How are your
The only
mental
way to say
disorders today, kids?
it. Not fucking good.
What are we fucking sorting? I'm sorry,
Took
everyone.
my meds. Sigh.
We're sorting
We're here
Brandon
sorting
The Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man, the last of
Yes.
our live-action Spider-Mans. We've still got Jake Johnson's Spider-Man in Spider-Verse,
Woo!
but this is the last of the currently released in the year 2022 live-action Spider-Mans. How many more will there be in the next 20 years? Only time will tell.
I don't
But
Andrew,
know.
this
come
is
back.
the best Spider-Man. Yeah, Andrew should come back.
Andrew's
And he
my
should do his
favorite, and
third
they
movie.
they need to give him a third movie,
And they should
and
let
they need
him
to let him
be
have some creative input.
dark and gritty and bisexual as he
Yes.
always wanted.
Dark
That's
and
why they
gritty.
Let
canceled
him
his
be
third
dark
movie.
and gritty and
don't
That's
want
gay.
it
why
to
they
be dark
canceled
and
his third
gritty.
movie. Listen to this. It's not a conspiracy theory. Andrew said that Peter Parker was bisexual,
Yes.
and somehow Sony was like, "Oh, we lost the footage for the third movie."
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, they wanted him to like retract it, basically
They
like
did
walk it
in
back, and he's
2012.
like,
This
"So
is
you
true
want?"
facts.
He was like, "So you want me to sell tickets to homophobes? I'm not doing that."
Hey!
Whether or
this
not
is
this
why
is the main
you
reason
see-
that he did not
Yeah.
do the third movie, I'm not sure, but
Hannah and Lauren tried to tell me before that Andrew's their favorite because he's the most true to the comics.
he
That's not why. It's
is.
because look at him, he's out there fighting for bisexual rights.
Yes.
He's also the best
That's
Peter Parker.
why.
Yes.
Which now,
Also,
now
why
I
would
find
you
your
do
opinion more
quotes
valid.
like most true to the comics? Like a bisexual
Listen,
Peter Parker is most true to the comics,
Yes.
Rachel. So
It fucking is.
all right.
He is very queer coded. He's very, very queer
Listen, I don't know
Yeah.
any of this. I just watched these movies.
I also like before talking about the characters, I thought the like backstory giving to this Spider-Man and the reason that like the venomous radioactive like genetically altered spider didn't kill him was like the most logically able to
Yeah.
swallow. Like for for Tobey's, they were just like, huh? Like, you know, like what? Like,
It was perfect. It was so camp. It was perfect.
It's just because. And Tom's, they just didn't go into it because they're like, we just did Tom's
this.
So interesting because like his origin story is not his origin story, and now
his origin story is his coming of age story.
Right,
they skip the origin.
They skip the origin, and now his origin literally actually just happened. Peter's, like, it's so interesting. But yeah, no, Andrews, they like put some effort into being like, this is why, and it's not fucking stupid. I'm like, that makes sense.
I think he is the funniest. I think he has the best quips, the best lines.
Yes.
I enjoy how he like shits on the bad guys. Like, oh no, a tiny knife. Like, he's fucking hilarious, and I think he's the cutest, like the cutest boy. I love it. But I don't know. There was something about Tom Holland that made me kind of like fall in love with that Peter Parker. I don't know. But I'm not a Peter Parker fan person the way y'all are.
Yeah,
I love Tom. I love his Spidey. I just wish they would make him.
You are into the comics and you're into more. So you have a different, like, you're coming at it from a different angle, which I get. That's valid. I've never agreed with anyone saying he was not a good Peter Parker, that he's too cool and too hot. What's fucking cool about Andrew Garfield in these movies? He's a goober.
I don't know if what people had a problem with is that he was like immediately confident, which he should have been. I don't know why that was a problem. Like, I was going to talk about that.
Is confident.
Yeah.
To a point where he's a
but
dick.
He's still like, he's still like, you know, he looks like that and he acts the way he does. So he's like, he's confident.
He's
confident, like strolling down the hallway. But all those kids in the high school are still like, who the fuck is this? Like, you know, like.
We should have gotten to see Andrew do like the emo look, the Bully Maguire. It should have been fucking Bully Garfield.
In my dream world, they're going to do his third movie and he's going to have the Venom symbiote and we're going to get to see him and Tom Hardy.
That would be together. Amazing. That's what I wanted.
Right?
That's why I was like, this is Dark Spider-Man.
Yeah. And he would do it so well. It would be so good. Ugh, it would be so good.
He really should.
I would also like seeing Tom do it too, but like Andrew deserves his third movie.
I don't know how Tom's not going to be like super emo and sad and like I have no idea how he's not going to come back and be like, fuck everybody and everything. I hate everyone. Like, I would just lose my entire shit if that happened to me.
I'm very excited to see what they do with his movies. And I'm hoping they get some new writers on board who will let him be quippy. Because when they do let him, like, make jokes and shit, it's good. Yeah. But it's not consistent. Like, I just rewatched No Way Home on Saturday to, like, prepare for this. And I was like making jokes because I had just watched The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
And I was like making jokes. I was like, he could have said this here. He could have said this here. And I'm like, and there's literally no dialogue happening where he could like make these jokes. It's just like they're not writing it. But when they do, it's good and he does it well. But I don't know.
Yeah, he's not as quippy. Like, you're right.
He's not as quippy. Andrew's is fucking perfect.
I just think Tom's so
cute.
He's
so good. I was watching the opening of the second one when he's like on the truck, like getting the Russian guy. He's just like, he's like, oh, Mr. Criminal. He's like, oh, you got a gun. And then he's like, hang on just a second. He's like, he's fantastic. He's the best. Like, Peter, I don't know. Like, one of my favorite things about Peter Parker is how, like, seriously, not seriously, he takes superheroing. Like, he's just he's very carefree about it. Like, it's not too serious unless something bad really happens, but almost the entire time he's just like even in the second one after they defeat Electro and like before Green Goblin shows up and he turns to Gwen, he's like, hope we can still make our flight. Like, nothing's that serious. Just killed a man. And he's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, he really doesn't take very much seriously throughout any of it. I don't know. He's
is very his house. So like it's got to affect him pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't relate to him at all. It's interesting. But let's talk about it. Who should we start with? Because we're gonna do Peter, we're gonna do Gwen, which is different from our last two because the other two
because there hasn't been a Gwen
MJ
Stacy.
or variations of MJ. But we do have another Harry.
We do.
So different but same.
Do we just want to go from who we have the least amount to the most amount?
Sure, let's start with Harry. Now,
I don't know how you're going to talk about Gwen without talking about Peter.
You don't want to talk about Gwen without talking about Peter?
I said I don't know how you're going to talk about Gwen without talking about Peter.
Oh, okay.
I assume
Fine, let's start with Peter. Whatever y'all want. I don't care which way we going. You're the Spidey gals. Okay, you decide.
The Spidey gals.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it on a
new
t-shirt.
cool name. So Lauren has decided for everybody. She's made the executive decision that we're going to start with.
I own this podcast.
Peter Puaka.
Peter Puaka.
Peter Puaka.
Peter.
The man, the myth.
Get me some fresh organic eggs. You know what, Rachel? Was watching this, and Aunt May's still Slytherin. Was very happy with that.
Yeah,
I love this Aunt May.
Kind of less bitchy than the old Aunt May, the really old Aunt May.
She'll get
that
there.
Old Aunt May is really like, she's straight up like, you got my husband killed, you little fuck. So, actually don't forgive you. It's hilarious. So I'm glad we're going with the theme. All of the Aunt Mays are Slytherins. Yeah. Let's just put that in our, I'll put that in the graphics for this episode. Just stick a little Aunt May in green somewhere in the corner.
Yes.
But Petey, this is Andrew's.
Have you all been paying attention? Here is your pop quiz. If you have been listening to How We Sort, and if you have literally, actually, you don't even know how we sort. You just need to know the one rule that we have that relates to this, is that everybody is the same everywhere. Yeah. You can't grow or change as a person. In any universe.
You are the same piece of shit no matter what you do. That's what Lauren said. I'm just quoting her. But so yeah, if you've been paying attention, we did Tom Holland Spider-Man and we did Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Both of them were Slytherins. So where do you think? Let's use context clues, children. Where do you think?
Where does Hannah have them?
Yeah, Hannah. Where are we putting him?
Oh, he's in Slytherin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andrew's
did you agree
Slytherin.
with that?
Yeah.
Or
No, I did agree with it. I actually, I had never really put a lot of thought into, even though I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, sorting him.
I do that all the time.
I think here and there I've been like, I don't really know, what. I've never really thought about what actually drives him. But then when, I've listened to your episodes, thought about it, I was like, yeah.
Our extremely educational episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, when we first thought that we were going to do this at the beginning of the year, this is actually the Peter that I went off of to examine the other ones, where I was like, I know this Peter. And then I was like, are all the Peters? And then I went and looked at them and I was like, yes. But this is the one that I was very certain of. I think there's an argument that Tobey is more obviously a Slytherin, especially when you see...
That is a correct argument. That is my argument.
All right. Yeah. Especially when you see Bully Maguire, because you see him without... it enhances your anger issues and your inhibitions or whatever. But I think, this is my personal opinion, I think Andrew most naturally embodies an everyday Slytherin you would see on the street and you would be friends with,
she's saying they're all sexy.
We're hiding amongst you. That's
she's not wrong.
And be hot.
We live amongst you and we are the Andrews. So the Andrews Spider-Mans. Yeah. We are not the Draco Malfoys or whatever, but
no, some of you are.
Some of them are, but yeah.
But no, he's very average Slytherin. I see what you're saying. You could run into him at the deli on the corner in Queens where I live, which has never happened. I don't know why. I haven't been blessed with Spider-Man. Very sad for me.
His whole Uncle Ben thing was way less obvious and dramatic than Tobey's. Tobey's got the it's not my problem or whatever the fuck he says.
No. Now hang on though. Andrew did have that moment.
No, I'm saying he did, but it
was
wasn't
much
as
more
dramatic and it wasn't
natural.
as pointed and this is my revenge. He's leaving the convenience store and the guy throws him his milk that he couldn't pay the 2 cents for, and Andrew's like, thanks, dude, and is leaving. And then the guy's already halfway across the street and the shop runner comes out and is like, aren't you gonna help me? You run, dude. You're standing right next to him. You run after him. Why does Andrew have to run after him after you were just a dick to him?
He gives him the line back though, the exact same way Tobey does.
He says he's like it's not my policy, but it's not like he stood aside and let the guy run past him on the elevator. It wasn't as dramatic. He was standing in the same exact spot
at all times. I'm telling, he's always a villain. I'm so serious.
He was standing in the same spot as the convenience store guy, and the convenience store guy just didn't want to run. He wanted Peter to run. Peter's like, fuck you, goodbye.
Not my job, guy.
How is this my problem?
Yeah, I'll run after the guy with a gun, sure.
Now, see, I think I might. So I know that I'm not in this man's house because every time he would, and you know what? It's funny if you think about like giving Tom's Spidey a moment like that. He probably, like now especially because he's so fucking pissed and upset, probably would do the same thing. Like if a shopkeeper was like, whatever, you're 2 cents off, dumbass, not my problem. New angry Tom would be like, okay, so saving you is also not my problem. I lost MJ. I don't give a shit about anything anymore. So I think this
guy like also wasn't as obviously like I would say that Tobey's clearly probably had a gun on him. He was robbing like a seedy place. This guy didn't even have a mask on. He didn't point the guy out. Like he made him look under the counter and just grabbed the money.
Reached over the counter and like took the money and left.
So I wouldn't expect this man to have a gun and shoot my Uncle Ben who's walking down the street.
But okay, Tobey didn't know either. He didn't know Uncle Ben was just fucking out there.
He could expect that man would probably shoot at somebody else who got in his way, I would think.
Yeah, but Tobey's a villain, so that's the difference. He's not the hero of those movies. There's no hero in those movies. But Andrew,
song's a lie.
I keep fucking calling him Andrew, and I know I was doing this in the other ones too.
I noticed myself doing that too. It's Peter.
It's Petey. I also thought his whole reaction when he comes home and he gets into that like really big fight with Uncle Ben and Aunt May is also very, very Slytherin because you can tell he feels fucking horrible that he didn't pick up his aunt. You can tell he feels horrible, but he's also got this very present issue on his mind about his father, and he can't control it from like ripping forth from him and being like accusatory towards them of knowing something about his dad.
He feels lied to. Yeah.
And he can't hold it. Even though he feels horrible about his aunt, he like sort of sets it aside for a second. He's going to go later and get her the milk. He's going to try to make it better. But he can't stop himself from screaming about the other thing because
he does too. And like this spider thing is like the first true connection that he has to his father. Like he's I like these Spider-Mans too because he's like solving a little mystery about his family. Well, that's also the thing that I was like, this makes it even more Slytherin because I know sometimes it's like daddy issues can be like a glaring Gryffindor sign. But like the way that they did this, like the other Spider-Mans, we don't really hear about like his dad or the effect that his parents had on him. And this Peter very clearly has been affected by his parents getting up in the middle of the night and leaving him and like never saying a word. And he's clearly like shaped and motivated by that. And it's in a very like Slytherin way. Like he wants to know about himself is what he's trying to figure out. Like it's not a like, why did you leave me, Dad? Like even when Harry like mentions it, like, oh, did you ever figure out like why your parents just fucking abandoned you? He's like, no, not really. But it's like a whole mystery to him. It's like, what's going on here? Like what? And like the big reveal is like his dad's like, I used my own DNA, and he's like, that's why I'm cool. And like, like that's like the big thing for him.
Just want to know why.
I'm so special. I just want to know why I'm special. Like I just want to know why.
Slytherins have mommy and daddy issues together. That's the difference. Gryffindors just pick one parent to have an issue over.
I feel like his whole thing is like obviously there's emotion there, but I feel like it's much more driven by like his curiosity to just like figure out the mystery, and he's just like driven to like he wants to solve the thing.
Just wants an answer.
And it's like an end goal that he has.
No, there's like even when he figures out like Kurt Connors was like his dad's friend or whatever, and it's like, and his aunt's like, he just never came and visited us after the funeral. Like they were such good friends and he just never showed up. Peter shows up at this dude's house and is like, has no like emotional attachment. He's not like, you know, like Tobey was with like Doc, like, oh, you're so cool. Like I want buddies. Can you be my mentor? He's just like, so answer these questions for me about my family and then I'll leave. Like, you know, or like answer these questions about the cool like hybrid genetic therapy and then I'll leave. Like,
and he's asking about that stuff. Like he's not showing up like an emotion house would show up and be like, tell me about my parents.
Yeah.
Did my parents ever talk about me?
Dude,
like,
why did my dad leave me?
Know my parents.
This might be why people say his is like he's too cool. He's like too blasé and too cool about everything. It's not like you obviously just don't understand what he's motivated by then.
Yeah, you don't understand what's driving him.
He doesn't. Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like he does. I guess this is part of it, right? He doesn't need anybody to tell him, "Oh, your dad really loved you." He's like, "Bitch, I know," but like, why'd they leave? Like, you know, like, he does, because when Aunt May has like, I think it's the second one where she finally tells him like they thought your dad was stealing money from the government or whatever, and he's like, I I don't think that's true. And like does the whole like, but even when she's crying and she's like, I'm your mom. I'm your mom. He's like, no, you are the best thing in my life. He's like, none of this stuff is in question. I'm very comfortable and sure of myself and all of this.
Yeah. Really made that about her real quick, didn't she?
She did. She's like, I'm the one who raised you.
As Aunt May ages, she gets meaner and meaner. That's all I'm going to say. I can't remember now, actually, because my rewatch was like over a month ago now. Does she know he's Spider-Man?
She has that conversation kind of like old Aunt May has when he stops being Spider-Man after Gwen. Mm-hmm. And she's like, wow, the city could really use that Spider-Man. Like, he really does save people. And yeah, she has that.
We need
like,
a whole
same
episode
vibe.
about the 3 Aunt Mays. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do that next. We're never going to leave the Spider-Man universe.
No, he's just so, I'm trying to think of specifically. The thing that caught me too is like the gap between the first and second movies, I do not think is very wide. I think it's from like mid-school year to the end of the summer, or to the summer, so graduation. So it's like maybe a few months or whatever. So it's not, he hasn't been Spider-Man that long, but he's obviously so much more comfortable than, this man has his fucking theme song as his ringtone. He's going to, yes, no, he has, and also when he's fucking tying up the guy Rhino, when he's tying him up, he's fucking humming it.
Yes.
Yeah, he's singing it.
He's
going
his theme song,
dude.
Yep.
Yeah, just like chilling around. Like he so naturally fell into it, and it's like what I always say about Slytherins. Like Slytherins and Gryffindors both have this where somebody comes to them and they're like, "You're the chosen one. You're special." And Gryffindors are like, "No, how can I be? Like, I need to go on this journey of self-discovery to figure out why I deserve this." And Slytherins are like, "Yeah." And Andrew's exactly like that. He's like, "I got a fucking theme song. Like, I'm so cool." And like, and he falls so easily into like the mentorship when he saves that little kid. He's like, "Come on, buddy, I'll walk you home. Like, look, your fucking cool wind turbine." Like, he's so easily, or even when he like gets Max out of the way and is picking up all his blueprints and he's like, "Yeah, you're my eyes and my ears. You're so cool." Or like when he's talking to the firefighters when they're taking down Matt. I know, he's like, "Yeah, great job, Rob the fireman." Like, you know, he's just so naturally like a leader. He's like, "Yes, I was born to be Spider-Man. I am Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man."
He's
like,
not,
I
you know what I like? He's
not cocky about it either.
He's not much different than he was before he was Spider-Man.
No,
he was just
not.
like that. He was confident in the fact that he was intelligent and that, like, he very clearly knew right from wrong. He is going to stand up for someone if something, like what Flash was doing. And
with the
enter
kid.
Gwen. I love that whole scene with Gwen.
I was going to mention that too, because I'm sure that's one of the things people didn't like. They were like, "Oh, he's like too like cool and blasé to be bullied or whatever." He was pretty heavily bullied. He was like, "I don't fucking, you know, like whatever. Like Flash is stupid. Like he's beneath me to engage." And like he gets the one comeback when he does the basketball thing, and like literally all he's doing is like moving out of the, you know, like he's not even really like beating him, or like Tobey, you know, beats that guy. Like guy's ass.
Yeah, and one of them is a villain and one of them is not.
I thought his turning into Spider-Man was the best Spider-Man moment too, on the freaking train home where he's
oh my god.
It's pretty good.
And he
it's
like
so
takes
funny.
the entire contents of the fridge out and like carries them upstairs.
It's funny. He's a good Spider. I don't know what the fuck people were talking about.
I don't, and you get much more of him like immediately studying what's going on to him. Like he immediately goes on to WebMD and is like looking up spiders and is like figuring out. And even they have that whole sequence in the second movie after Electro fries his web shooter where he's like, "Okay, how do I make a better web?" Yeah. And it's so very like Peter and very Slytherin to be like, "I've been presented with this problem and now I'm going to like obsessively find a solution." And it's like, yes, it will help me, but also like, how cool. Like, I just want to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I appreciate that we get to like actively see how smart he is.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like that's something that we get lacking. Yeah. Like they just tell us that he's smart. And I'm I want to see him being smart. Yes. He's second in his class. Yes. Second at Midtown High.
He's fucking brilliant. And it's not just like, what I like about some Slytherins, and he's one of them, is the combination of like understanding street smarts as well as like intellectual smarts. He's both. So I can understand how he appears as too cool to some people. That just tells me you haven't mastered both then, sir. Okay? Because he's just like a cool... Okay, fine. He has a cool personality. He is someone that you'd want to be friends with. Why does that make him less Peter Parker? I want to be friends with all the Peter Parkers. Like, I would very much like to be friends with them.
I also don't get the, like, he's too cool. It's like, he is a human disaster when he's, like, trying to get together with Gwen. He's still a human disaster in the second movie when he's, like, trying to talk to other people, and he is Peter Parker.
Like, a lot of it is on Gwen. Like, Gwen comes up and is like, this guy's so fucking weird. Let's go. He's not...
I think, you know what too? I think their whole relationship, how they get together and everything, is one of the most realistic portrayals I've ever seen of two people who are really into each other and don't know how to, and it's like that awkward, cute, very young, like, you remember feeling
don't
like
know
that?
how to emotion.
I was watching
like,
it and I was like, I remember this. That's so cute. And it's probably a lot because they were actually going through it together as a couple, like the actors. Yeah. But it comes across as very genuine and real on the screen. And I loved that. I loved that because you're really rooting for them. And then I don't know what the fuck they were thinking killing her. I really don't.
I mean, she dies canonically.
She dies in the comics, but yeah, they didn't have to
changed it. Oh, it's so bad. It hurts. Oh,
it's supposed to hurt. Like, that's why I wanted to say too. I so appreciated that No Way Home was like, yes, this is the Peter Parker that killed some bitches. I was like, that's right. That is what would happen if he felt like he was at fault for not saving his partner. Like, his chosen person, his loved one, like, he went after her. He was like, I'll kill Jack the Ripper in London. Like, I'll do that stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, he was like, I'll like, you know, I'll adapt my entire thing and my identity to wherever you want to be because I want to be with you that badly. And then he feels like, and that's the thing too, that he probably feels like it's not even just that he failed to save her. He's like, I had it. I had her. Like, if I had done it the right way, she'd be fine. And he did it the wrong way. So I think that's really getting to him too. But yeah, I was so happy in No Way Home where they very heavily implied that he, you know, kind of let some of the bad guys die, maybe. I was like, he did. He did. He beat on their asses.
It's not even implying, like, if Spider-Man pulls his punches, you're dead. Like, his fucking super strength. It would be like if Cap pulled his punches. You're dead. Like, you're just punching through that person.
It's so sexy.
Very sexy of him. But yeah, I can definitely see, like, that guilt driving him to be like, well, I can't like let other people die on my watch. And if I'm letting innocent people die by not killing people who would deserve it more.
Yeah. Because you can kind of see it at the beginning, too, when he's searching for the guy that killed Uncle Ben. Like, some of those people he ties up for the police, and some of them is like, you're not the guy I'm looking for. And you're like, he swings off. He's like, whatever, bye. Yep. Like, if you get out of this, fine. You know?
We have to talk about how it's a very Slytherin thing now that we've revealed all three Peters are the same house. We have to talk about how it's a very Slytherin thing that they're the only ones who can get through to each other emotionally. Like, nobody else was getting through, and Slytherins need to talk to themselves, and this is just a literal, it's like Sam Winchester again. Like,
it's a literal
Sam needs to talk to Sam. Peter needs to talk to Peter. Yeah. Peter, what do you think? Like, they needed to...
No. Yeah, they were... Yeah, it's exactly like that. Exactly.
Does anyone understand why he's Peter 3? Like, why didn't they make him Peter 2?
They literally... They messed it up somewhere in there, too, because he was Peter 2, and then Tom pointed at Tobey first.
Like, he's Peter, he should be Peter.
Well, because Tobey was like, I thought,
it was part of the joke that they had got it messed up because they were all Peter. But
maybe it was too nuanced for me.
I don't. It's just so ingrained that that's who they are now. That's their numbers. So I don't even question it. Yeah. It was just them being dumb. He's got to be
Peter too. I don't know.
No, it was. Yeah, I think it was originally signed that way, and then they messed it up. So. Because you see Andrew go like, Peter 3, I guess. Like, you know, but yeah, you're right. That whole scene on the rooftop where they come flipping by. And it's so like, Tom's Peter isn't even phased. He's like, oh yeah, it's me.
He's like, shut the fuck up. I don't need to listen. I already know everything you're going to say. And they're like, do you really?
I know exactly what you're going to say,
Yeah. No,
and then he's like, "Oh shit, right. You do."
He's like, "But you still, you know this somewhere in your brain, but you also need to hear it out loud from someone else who shares your life and brain." So listen, this is what you need to do. I lost my aunt. I lost my uncle.
That's the thing. That's the thing that got him. Like, you really don't like Peter was like people with foresight. Like, I am you, and I've been through the thing that you just went through, and I've had the experience. And you're like, God damn it, this is the most logical that you could ever be, and I don't want to hear it right now. I'm just sitting here first. In my sadness.
I guess I did.
Yeah, no, it's like, I just want to sit here in my illogical emotion of being mad at everybody and wanting to kill them. And like, you know, the other two Peters show up and they've been like, you know, I've been down that path and I did it and I didn't feel good about it. And he's like, I don't fucking want to hear that.
Like, I don't care. I'm going to kill this person. I've already decided.
I try to imagine like a Gryffindor in that situation. Like if you did that to Tony when Tony was really, really pissed and just lost someone.
He wouldn't listen to himself.
It would never fucking work.
He'd never listen to himself.
He'd be like, shut up. You're the last fucking person I want to see.
I don't think I can trust you. Yeah, I don't think I can trust you. I think me right now in my own brain is good. Yeah, no.
But it's a Logic House thing. I say this with Ravenclaws too. Like they need to talk to themselves. It's wild.
Yeah, you work through it.
Gotta tap into me.
The fucking big thing with this Peter too that was different from the other Peters and was also hugely Slytherin was freaking Captain Stacy telling him to stay away from Gwen and the guilt he felt over it. And like he did it at first and then was like, I can't.
For how long?
He was like, for barely like a couple of months. Gwen was like, I don't really like it. And he's like, and she knows all of this, right? Like she knows that her dad told her and that's how he's feeling. So I think he is like respecting her choice as well because she also later during the Electro fight, when he tries to get her tied to the car or whatever, she's like, it is my choice to come with you. Like, you have to stop. And he has to live with that. But no, it was so hugely Slytherin that he was like, and she says it too. She's like, I can't keep doing this with you where you like get guilty and you leave and then you like immediately come back because he wants to be with her so badly. And I think he is going through a constant swinging pendulum of like, well, I'm pretty sure it'll be like it won't happen. Like I'm so good, it won't happen. Like she won't. I will stop her from getting her. Like it'll be fine. I can do it. And he's like, and also it's like he's like I chose her. She's my person. Like how am I not supposed to like be hanging around her? So like I totally get it, and I totally get the guilt that he feels too because he did make like a very logical promise to her dying father after he saw him get killed for the exact same thing that Gwen would like logically get killed for. He was like, I know that it could happen and I'm just not going to let it happen. And you know, and
then even when it does happen, it's like you have to then battle with the logic and the reality of the fact that she went up there and said to him, fuck off. This is my decision. You need to respect me enough to let me know. Like, I understand the cable or whatever the fuck it was, the grid. Like, she's like, I understand this. And you need to stop policing what I do. Fuck off. Like, I can do it.
You know, he didn't, like, when she was dead, he was like, that was a totally separate thing, and it was my fault.
I know. I know. And he's got to, like, grapple with that and battle with that in his head. And you can see how he goes down that really dark path that you see in No Way Home. Like, you feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
So
I think
fucking
it's
bad for
telling,
him.
too, like, he didn't have he hadn't met a Mary Jane, and they were asking him about, like, you know, like, do you have anybody? And like, he has in 10 years, he hasn't had anybody. He's just
doesn't have any, like, he doesn't even have any friends.
Yeah,
like,
I'd be really interested to know if his Aunt May is still alive. Like, I don't know. I don't know if he mentioned.
So.
Yeah, I hope so too, for his sake. I really do.
But
I could also see him being completely alone. Yeah. So.
But I mean, even if she is, he is completely alone without her. And if she doesn't really know, like, that he is. Like, really that he is Spider-Man.
I hope that she does.
Like,
Jake Johnson's Aunt May knew he was Spider-Man. So I would hope, like, and she kind of knew when she was like, man, would be cool if Spider-Man came back and saved all these people. Like it would just take having the conversation, which, you know, with the Slytherin is like, you know, pulling teeth and slipping through mud. But like maybe with a decade's time, he would have, you know, had that conversation with her eventually.
Yeah. Who's got fucking time to wait around for this shit? My God. This poor kid, though. Like, it really is just, it's just completely fucked up. And they give him that moment where he's able to catch MJ. And, like, you see the oh my God, it's like, finally. And I don't know how much of it is just Andrew feeling the emotions of that moment. Like, I'm finally redeemed. Like, my guy, my Pete is finally redeemed. Yeah. Versus just, he's an amazing actor. He's channeling it all into Peter Parker.
Yeah.
But if we take it from a sorting perspective and it's Peter Parker, you see the relief. Like, he really does feel, it's not only relief he saved this girl.
It's like redeemed.
He fucking needed that.
It is redemption. It's like logical and not logical, right? Like,
completely
it's like,
both.
Yeah. No, it is both. Because it's like, it's not Gwen. Like, it's not, he didn't do anything to like erase that or walk that back. But he's like, I repaid it. You know, like he's like, I feel peace now.
You can see it in him. He shifts.
Yeah. And his music plays for the first time. Talked about that in the other one. Yeah.
So I know. It's so good.
It's like his renaissance, his coming back. That's why I want the third movie too, because this movie gives you the clear message that he has not been right in the head for the past however many years. Like, he has not been his real self, Spider-Man.
Poor guy.
I know.
He really deserves a comeback. He really deserves it.
His movies are
I know.
really
Andrew
sad.
Garfield
They're
came
really
out here and was
sad.
like, I'm going to take a break from acting, and I know he's signing the contract, so stop playing, Andrew. Like, I know that's what's happening.
Do you guys place them along this scale, the three of them close together? They're kind of not, right?
No.
They're kind of...
No.
No.
Toby's the most unhinged.
Yeah, he's
So we'll put
over
him
on
there.
Toby's over by Loki.
fucking
Like on the
wild
right,
in the
yeah.
head.
And
Tom
I would
is
put
really
Tom,
well balanced.
Tom's pretty mellowed. I'd put him over by
Yeah.
like Daphne and fucking Bella Swan.
For real.
His aunt May definitely had him in therapy.
Yeah.
Like, as a child.
He's a Gen Z Spidey for sure.
He was totally chill with like, we saw that one, the suitcase has his dad's initials on it. And
Yeah.
he was totally, he had therapy about that incident, whatever it was.
He is. He's much more well adjusted.
Yeah.
Andrews,
I think
is,
he's
like,
in the middle of,
firmly middle in the middle.
He's like, I think he and Natasha would get along really well, to be totally honest. I feel like they'd have similar views. Like, I could see him sitting in the car next to her when she's fucking blowing up the orphanage.
They
He's
could
like,
be
yeah, man. Like,
related.
they could.
They could be like brother and sister. The
I could
very
see it.
cool, calm personality.
Yeah, Black Widow,
Just-
Spider-Man, Andrew Spider-Man. Yeah.
Common thing
Yeah.
in fic is for her to be his favorite Avenger. And
Oh,
for them
I
to become
believe
friends.
it.
Yeah.
I believe it. That's so
They
He's
would
like, it's
cute.
not
definitely
even
be
the
besties.
spider thing.
Yeah,
like, she's just the
I think
coolest
they're
Avenger.
like the most similar. They're
Yeah.
extremely similar, and like they're Slytherin type.
He might want too many hugs for her taste, but
that.
She
Andrews
would give them to him, though.
I don't know
Huh?
because are you saying Andrew's Spider-Man or
Yeah.
I think Tom
he
would ask
wanted
for more
hugs from the other Pete's.
He did.
He wanted affection.
Was that he hadn't had friends in 10 years and he was like, if anybody's gonna
Maybe.
hug me, it'll be me.
Maybe.
Because when he was with Gwen, he was a little more
He's all
puppyish
up
than
on
Gwen.
her.
He was.
Excuse me.
He did.
I think he's the
but I
most
think he
outward
also-
physically affectionate
Yes, but I
of the
think
three
he
of them,
also
for sure.
was like, like Gwen's not Mary Jane. Mary Jane would have, well, not Tom's MJ, but like Toby's Mary Jane was a very like stereotypical affectionate, big
sure.
emotion Gryffindor, and I feel like that would have been too much for him. I feel
Yes,
like Gwen.
yeah.
I think Gwen in her house like tempered him. He was like, I gotta be patient,
We got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. I mean, look, there's probably so much more to say about him, though.
I also think there is a lot. I can say this. I think he liked Gwen, and I thought Gwen was really great for him, and I hope an MJ can be good for him in the future. I think like Slytherins and Gryffindors just work well. So if it's the right time, if it's the right time, if it's the right type of Gryffindor, then absolutely, because obviously it would have to be not a Toby MJ. I think I do think he liked Zendaya's, so that might work for him. And I think Zendaya's Gryffindor was closer to Gwen in like personality, but but
it's more mellow. It's not.
it is, but
in your face all the time.
But I think he did like that. He like kind of had to work for Gwen. Like Gwen kind of fell into his lap because all of a sudden she was like, this guy's fucking weird, and like started talking to him. But I also feel like he felt like oh, she's she's
he
like
had to earn her a little bit.
Yeah, no, he was like, oh, she's she's debating me. Like, this is fun. Yeah.
They have an instant chemistry and connection, but that doesn't automatically mean that like someone's going to date you or be take you seriously that way.
No, he's totally.
So he had to.
When he comes
did
into
have to work.
the internship program, like, not like he's not supposed to be there, and she's like, and he's like, I dare you to say it in front of all these people that I'm not supposed to,
They have a very fun dynamic. It's so the chemistry is so good with those two.
It is. It really is. And again,
It's
that might
so
be because they
interesting.
actually dated. I don't know, but
okay, it is. But also, like the script says what it says, and
Yeah.
like, the characters do what they do, and of course they brought the chemistry to life because the two actors were such a cute couple, and I'm so sad they're not really together because I have issues.
In the second
where I think
one,
I know people and I don't.
In the second one, when they're having that whole conversation where she's like, I think it's time for us to be friends, and they're like laying out their parameters of like, oh, you can't do this. I'm just listening to that conversation like, you fucking idiots know that you're dating right
You're
now
not-
immediately,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
You can't.
Like this
You're
is
incapable.
a conversation of two people who are dating. Like,
But take that conversation and like put that aside to say Anthony and Kate from Bridgerton, where it's two Gryffindors, where the way they behave when you can't be together but want to be together is so
we've seen it. They're
drastically
like
different.
shouting at each other and insulting each other.
Yeah.
No, and
it's so hugely different.
It might have been different if he. Fucking, I guess I have to Well, like Gwen's not a Slytherin. She's not in his house. So it might have been different as well if he was talking to somebody from the same house. It might have been a little more, I think it would have been a little less playful. I think it would have been a little more like jabby and like serious. And like, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's got to be because, I mean, it can be a really serious thing to have that conversation with somebody. So if you have two very similar personalities, it's tough. So like if you have put two Gryffindors, like we were saying in Bridgerton, it's going to be fucking fireworks in a either really great way or a horrible way. You're going to throw up the next morning and you're going to hate yourself. And they went through all
man, did I really tell her to go back to India? Did I really do that?
But I really need her to go because if she doesn't, I'm going to fucking die.
I'm going to cheat on her sister, man. I'm going to do adultery so bad.
I can't. And so two Slytherins definitely would have been a negotiation that was snippy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Gwen is not
because it would have turned into like, you don't think I can do it? I can do it. Like you don't think that I can hold back my emotion?
I'm gonna spite you and me.
Yeah. Yep.
Now no one wins, and I'm happy about it. Weirdly, he definitely could be spiteful too. He has it in him to be spiteful.
We saw him be spiteful.
Absolutely. Yes.
We saw him. He was like a bit spiteful to Flash and he gets and God, I don't know I wish we could see what he wowould do to Harry seeing him again. Like I'd be like, fucking really, Harry? Really? Like, I'm gonna kill you, obviously.
I don't know. Tobey pretty much forgives Harry. He's like a different.
That was a totally different relationship that he had with Harry because they grew up together.
Different relationship,
now they say
different story.
That Pete's Harry in this one. They are childhood friends too, though, right?
He said but he went back to boarding school for like a decade or something. Like they were young friends.
Like when his parents grew up first together, left. But then he left when
like Peter's parents left, and I think Harry like went immediately to boarding school. Like Harry knew that his parents like left him when he was 8, and he was kind of there for him. And then his dad sent him off like middle school up. I think he was in boarding school.
So when we see them together, is this the first?
Yeah, he's like he hears that Harry's dad has died on the news, and he's like, I should go visit him.
Right.
Yeah,
that actually is. I thought it was kind of a very Slytherin thing for him to do because I was like, who else is like watching? Oh, I used to be friends with this person when I was 10.
Yeah. Oh, good
point. Their dad just died. Let me go check in with them.
He's like, hey, Harry, you really helped me out when my parents fucking up and disappeared on me, and I heard your dad just died, so here I
am. That's so kind and nice of you. Oh, I'm not doing it to be kind. It just makes sense for me to be here.
It's logical in my brain for this to be happening.
It works that you think I'm kind. Let's talk. That's so funny.
I will say he does like do some stupid fucking things too, like the camera with property of Peter Parker on the fucking back.
No, he's an idiot.
That was
very dumb,
foolish.
Smart person.
It's not even
foolish, Peter.
Yeah, it's not even dumb. He's just like, obviously this is gonna work. So like, there's no problem with this being on the back of the camera.
Yeah, I call that dumb. You can't not prepare for the worst because you just think
it's overconfident. It's the overconfidence will get you sometimes.
It's so fucking funny. He like drags himself out of the sewer after almost drowning and is like, well, that sucked, and then just like flies. Like he doesn't even try to go get the camera back. He's
we'll
like, whatever.
Catalog that. We'll learn from that.
Don't do that again. Camera's lost now, and also that camera was obviously like his dad's or something, and he was like, well, it's just.
Oh my God. A Gryffindor Peter Parker is just screaming and crying, my dad's camera! It's all I had left!
I was going to say too, this was the best incorporation of like photography Peter Parker, I thought. I don't know, but...
Yeah, without actually seeing him working for the Bugle. I think it was great. Yeah.
I will
see him casually doing it.
And he was like a hobbyist. Like he liked doing it. Like all of a sudden Toby's like, oh my God, Aunt May needs money for the car. And it's like... So I guess I'll take these pictures of Spider-Man because I'm the only person who can take pictures of Spider-Man. Like it's a hack. I'm not even that great a photographer. It's just like, you know. Yeah, it's very cute that he's like, you know, taking candid photos of Gwen before she even really like notices him. And...
Cute or a little weird.
I think photographers get a pass because they're like, you're not a human, you're a subject.
Oh, is that where we draw the line? All right.
Photographers.
It's fine, because it is cute, and he really does have the best of intentions with her.
Mm-hmm.
They're so fucking cute. I
think it's like a better portrayal of Toby's like weird, like I've loved you since I was
Toby's
6.
a creep and a villain. So once more, I'll say. He was stalking the shit out of her for sure. They just didn't put that in those scenes.
That was cute too when Gwen was like, have you been following, like, you know, like they didn't make it feel weird when Toby's like stalking MJ before MJ has consented to being his other person.
But does he really need it? Because if she finds out, she's like, oh my God, really? You take more pictures of me when I'm sleeping. Oh, Mary Jane. I've got strong opinions on her too, but this is not her episode.
It's so funny that Tom's MJ and Toby barely interacted because she would have kicked him in the balls. So
yeah, that's true.
Well, you know what? All right,
he's matured heavily.
That's true. Yes.
So I think they'd get along. But if she met him as a teenager, she'd be like, "Fuck off, goober."
No. I actually really enjoyed Toby in No Way Home.
Yeah,
me too. I really liked him.
I did too.
And for the listeners, I don't like him at any other time.
He was like an older man with a mortgage. He was like Jake Johnson before the divorce. Jake Johnson's Peter Parker.
That's true.
Yeah, he was. He really was.
Yeah.
That's really true.
Yeah.
Good for him. I'm happy for him. He really grew up and he was just like, I'm just happy to be here, guys. It's great to be part of this. This is amazing. What's going on? Don't let your friend get any kind of superhero shit.
MJ's like, why are you dressed as a youth pastor? He's like, you're right. And like, she's like,
I absolutely am. Imagine that. It was so nice. It was so cute because, like, it is just nice as a person who grew up with the movies, even though I didn't really care for him or care for them. It was just so cool seeing something like that.
It was like nostalgic, right? And I thought,
it felt so good.
The
I
way
don't even
that
know
the
why.
actors handled it, I think, like lent all that much more to it.
Yeah.
Like Andrew lying his ass off and Toby just walking around outside with a fucking poster of the movie, but like not doing an interview with anybody.
Get out of the fucking way! I loved it. I really like Tobey Maguire as a person.
Somebody on TikTok I was not into this because I was like,
TikToks are so good.
No, but like I was like, why were you doing? They were in the airport going through like security through TSA, and their reactions were all exactly like their Peters for like Toby was like giving it the worst stink eye. He's like, what the? And Andrew's like. And then it's like he waves at them and is like, hey, and then it's trying to ignore him. And Tom's like, oh hey, hi, like giving them attention, but then he's also being like, are you gonna stop filming at any point?
Yes.
But, like,
yeah.
You see Toby like at the checkpoint and they play the da-na-na-na-na. It's just him like mean mugging the shit.
The thing that makes it funny is they played the music perfectly. So Toby's like turning around to look at mug the shit out of them.
Oh my God.
I just want to hear, see you, chump. Just get the fuck out of there.
No, but like, don't bother people at the airport.
My cheeks hurt.
Anyway.
So good. They're all Slytherin. He's such a Slytherin,
yes.
Andrews.
And
oh my
in
God.
the future, they will continue to be Slytherin.
So if you're looking to see like
Jake Johnson Spider-Man for you, but
oh my God,
man is a broken shell.
I think it's a good point that Lauren made in the beginning of the episode that he is like this Peter is a very good interpretation of what a regular Slytherin is like. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking around your circle and you're like, who the fuck, which one of you are Slytherins? Don't look for like the Draco. Look for the Peter Andrews version.
Mm-hmm. Like Taylor's version. I think, he's like the most, Taylor's, he's the most like personable, relatable type of Slytherin.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because like that's hard because I don't think Natasha is that unrelatable, but like the situation she's in where you're like, would I blow up an orphanage full of children? That's like hard to think about.
Yeah, and like, yes, I would.
For this exact like reason and situation and context that I'm in, like yes, probably. I would. But that's really extreme to think about, right? So it's hard to do it with superheroes, yet somehow Andrews is such a like
he feels like a real person.
Yeah, he does. He feels like yes. And I can totally be like, even when he's like fighting the bad guys, I'm like, I would act exactly this way with Electro when we're in Times Square and he's like, freaking the fuck out. Like I would be like you can Peter, he's so smart. He immediately understands that this guy needs him to know his name and that he needs to have attention. Like he immediately gets it. I'm sorry. I could talk about how awesome he is all day.
He can pick up on people's emotions. Fine. It's just that when he's overcome with his own, which I think is like a lot of Slytherins, he can't then like that part turns off for a second and he has to get out what he needs to say. So I keep coming back to the whole thing where the door screen shatters when he's talking to Uncle Ben about his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can sit there and placate Uncle Ben, and he could sit there and really make a good case for himself and probably get out of that. But he can't because he's overcome by his own emotions. And I think that's also a very Slytherin thing. Like, you can keep it in until you really fucking can't. And sometimes you guys need to just let it out a little bit more.
Maybe we do.
Healthy.
Maybe more than twice a decade, but
Twice a decade.
No. But like I guess I wasn't even connecting to Slytherin. I was just talking about how fucking smart he is. But you're right that like he read that situation immediately.
I wasn't even connecting it, but you know what?
But you know what? Yeah, we are the smartest house. Like. No, but it's the way that he did it. The way that he did it was Slytherin. Like he immediately read what where Max was coming from and like what was happening. And
I would struggle maybe like seeing a Ravenclaw get on that quickly and doing that quickly because the Ravenclaw would probably be
they
like,
wouldn't.
You've seen
Strange be like, the fuck is your problem?
What is wrong with you? Then the villain being like, I'm being like, Wanda, I'm being fucking reasonable. He's like, hey guys, she said she was being reasonable. I kind of believe her.
She's like, do you have thoughts on this? Do you want to discuss? Because I believe her. Like, do you have anything to input here? Like, I'm gonna go talk to her and see what's up. And you come back like, yeah, I think she was being reasonable. I'm gonna go push that button, see what happens. I'll be right back. Like,
oh my god, I can't with them. All right, well, we can. Unless Lauren, if you have anything else to say,
I mean, I could continue talking about him forever, but no, I think we got him pretty well covered.
I could talk about him forever. I love him.
Yeah, but do you want to? I don't want to cut you all off.
No, like I said, I didn't really have a lot of notes for this. It was just vibes.
He's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah, he's obvious. The other two, I was like, I think it's this. If
until
not,
you see Bully Maguire, and then you're like,
Oh no, I meant the other two were sorting today.
Have you rewatched Hannah? Have you rewatched Tobey's at any point recently?
Yes, I rewatched it before No Way Home. Right? He's fucking terrible. And it's so funny because like I was a huge Spider-Man and Batman were my introductions to superheroes as like 4 and 5-year-olds, like the 90s cartoons.
Yeah.
And I loved them so much. And then Tobey's movies came out and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is not Peter Parker. And I was so upset. And then Andrew came.
Yes.
And it just
I
cured all my ills.
Upset too, because like people did that thing that humans do where they were like, it's too soon and you're not the first one. So like, I just hate you on principle, like just on principle. And like, we've had enough foresight now where even the people that were like, I hate you on principle are now like, wow, Andrew's so good. He was so good at this. Like, you ruined it for all of us. You did. You and the biphobia of Sony. I called them out.
Come fight us. But thank you for releasing him so that he was able to get No Way Home. Appreciate that because he was great at that.
Yes, thank you for your contract negotiations in my favor.
No, it's new people at Sony. That's what it is. They got rid of all the old fucks. All right. We can go into Gwen.
Yes.
Because I think now we would like to pass the Bechdel test, though. We don't want to only talk about Gwen in relation to Peter.
Oh, God. We never did that.
It's difficult. Sometimes in these movies, I'm noticing a lot in the Spider-Man movies where the female, like, love interest, it's very much tied to all scenes with Peter, and I get it, it's Peter's movie, but like Gwen's not Gwen, Mary Jane's, like the OG Mary Jane, it's all related to Peter.
Well, yeah, that's also early 2000s movie structure.
It kills me, and I love that it progressively gets better. Like MJ is very much her own,
especially in the third movie where she's like, Peter's being fucking ridiculous. Like, I'll talk to Harry if I want to. Like, you know?
Yeah. I know. But I like what I like about Gwen is Gwen has her whole own fucking thing. She truly does. Yep. Like, she straight up is like, my education's actually extremely important to me, so you need to fuck off and say whatever you need to say. Like in that scene where he goes to
the Oxford interview.
She's like, spit out whatever the fuck you need to say right now, and then also understand I'm going.
She's also like
whatever you say.
You're embarrassing me in front of this lady. Like,
which I mean, I think is very telling of her house. Nobody's going to get in the way of her ultimate goal. This is what she sees. It's like tunnel vision, her education, which is a good thing to have tunnel vision about.
Yeah.
People might, like myself, have tunnel vision about way worse things.
I mean, obvious. She had an internship at Oscorp when she's like a senior in high school, like in a high up internship.
Yeah,
like
she was first in her class.
Yeah, she was like she was Dr. working with Dr. Connors.
Mentor,
yeah, exactly.
Like direct mentor. Like that's fucking impressive. And Peter shows up and she's like, he's number 2 in our class. And he's like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, I'm fucking sure.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
actually.
I'm sure because I'm number 1.
Actually.
The confidence is so awesome in her.
She
So then
uses-
this is what I definitely want to get to about her house. But I'm going to immediately tell you before we tell you what she is. I'm going to tell you what she's not. I'm going to tell you right now, she's not going to be a Gryffindor and she's not going to be a Slytherin because the confidence that she has is not attached to her ego at all. And it's not like in your face.
It's her ability.
Like, you need to believe in me because I'm like, it's not. She's just straight up like, I fucking know more than you. I do. I know better. I know more than you.
And
just,
it's like you have to. I mean,
but it's not
Slytherins.
insulting.
No, I know. And I was going to say Slytherins can be like that because they can be so confident in their own abilities. But hers is like not. Like, you're right. It's disconnected from ego. She's like, it's not just that, like, I know this and I also think I'm the best. She's like, logically, based on the facts of the class ranking and my position at Oscorp and, you know, like, I am the best. I'm the smartest.
And the fact that I am my daddy's favorite.
Yes.
Yes, I should be. I loved her relationship with him. I'm so sad.
Yeah.
I'm so sad about how that ended.
The way she reacted to his death was, she was like, life goes on. Like, we got to keep moving.
Yeah.
She's
like, why didn't you come to his funeral? Are you going to sit here and just continue to be guilty about this? This is annoying. This is what we're doing? Fine. It's all of her reactions are nothing like a Gryffindor or a Slytherin. Nothing. Nope. So, Hannah, what do you think?
I think she's a Ravenclaw.
I think so too.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yay.
That's very correct. Which
I was like, I don't know what else she could be. Like, I literally was sitting there like, I don't even know what else she could be.
Seeing Peter with a Ravenclaw, just because we always see him with a Gryffindor, and like obviously, again, that works. Like, media loves it.
But
they
it's such a cool
come for it so hard.
It
is. I love Ravenclaw Slytherin.
And when it's done, push each other
when it's done
to like,
When I think the last time we talked about this was Jack Sparrow and Elizabeth Swann. I really do, but I love that. I love that.
We had Kate and Clint too.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's also, but
and we're gonna have something else. Yeah.
But this time it's romantic.
A current show I am watching and getting ready to sort is also that. But
yeah. For a while, I only had Britta and Jeff from Community to talk about. Which is a crazy, ridiculous shit show because they are crazy, unhinged people.
Yes.
You've got 2 very normal people here, so it's nice to be able to assess a romantic relationship.
Or like Charlie and Dennis, like you can't
do that. That's unhinged. Oh my god, that's so
you
funny.
can't look at that one at all because Dennis treats Charlie like shit, and then Charlie like is treating him like shit, but not in a way that Dennis is able to see. So it's like
nope. But no, they do completely respect each other, and do push each other. Like with that whole scene I was talking about, Peter accepts it. He's like, you know what? You're right. Go. I'm actually from Harvard. I want her in my group. Like he's pushing her to actually fucking go. And he'll go to England too. He'll take his ass over there. But he wants what's best for her.
But
He's letting her
I guess this is
dreams.
kind of about Peter too. Like he didn't at first say he was going to go with her. He was like, "This is the end," because she also is coming out too. She's like, "Maybe we're just on different paths," and he's like almost ready. Because again, like Gwen as a Ravenclaw has obviously thought through this, like purposely, consciously, as opposed to a Slytherin who isn't consciously doing it. It just happens, but consciously has removed her emotions so that she can look at this and be like, "Okay, are we good together or do I just really, really care about you? And like, this isn't working because I have shit that I want to do. So like, if you aren't going to, if you aren't going to fit into my life, like we can't be together. Like it's simple as that. And it's the I love you from her that gets him to be like, oh, I'm supposed to make it clear that I also love her. And like, and also I could go with her. Like that's the thing that clicks in his head when she's like, I'm not saying all of this because I don't love you. Like I do. And he's like, oh, I could go with her. Like he's so, he's so stupid.
But she's saying it because like, not just that it's her own thing where she's like, okay, I have the things that I want to do and you're not going to stop me from doing them. It's like, well, is this relationship good for him too? Because if he's going to keep doing this thing where he keeps doing the like, okay, but I have to pull back because I have the guilt thing over and over again, like it's bad for him too.
Yeah, it is. They're very maturely handling this. Like even though they're trying to stay away from each other, they kind of can't. It's hard for both of them. Obviously, they're still into each other. They're handling it. They're trying. They actually are really trying. They're not. I mean, I don't know. They're still teenagers, and it's tough. And you got raging fucking hormones issues. Like they really want to be together. They really love each other. But Gwen is very mature, and she really is trying. She's
She's got her life together. Like she's got her path set out. She's like, this is what I'm going to do.
But you know what? She's not, in a way that another house, I think, would get so angry at him if he, like, interrupted her studying or could get her in trouble with her parents. She reacts very calmly about all of it because I think she feels she has a handle on it.
Yeah, she's like, I got it handled.
She's very much like, we can't wake up my parents, like, oh, I don't want them to hear you in here, or I do have to study for this. But it's not, she's never, like, freaking out on him or anybody. She has everything under control all the time. And it's really interesting and admirable because, like, couldn't be me. I really enjoy watching it.
Can't relate.
Right? I really, really liked watching her. I was like, I learned so much from this 17-year-old.
Wow, I too could be a fully formed person.
Right? If I only had that brain.
No, and I think it is very telling too that, like, at the beginning of the movie, obviously Peter had like a crush on her. It was so cute after he, the whole Flash thing where he tries to stop Flash and gets beat on. And then, Gwen very Ravenclaw, like, takes him down with words. Like, Flash is confused into going to class and and shamed. And then when they're in the classroom and she's like, do you know? She's like, what's your name?
What's your name?
What's your name? He's like, Peter.
You don't know my name?
You don't know my name? Like, he's like, you don't know, like, I know we're not, like, friends, but you really didn't know. She's like, oh, I know your name. Do you know your name? Like,
it's such calm. Even when you see that she's, like, nervous around him, it's still under control.
But it is, it's like, that's the first moment that they talked is what the movie's saying, because Peter's had, like, this far away crush on her and whatever, and she initiates a conversation with him because he did something that she admired, and then like, he snuck into Oscorp and, like, was pretending to be, and she was like, let's see what happens here, and, like, talks to him afterwards.
She's like, this idiot,
and then she kicks him out.
Let's see.
Yeah, and then she kicks him out, and then when it really kicks off, when he, like, gets bit and he starts going truly insane, that she's like, this is something that I kind of want to be around. Like,
I want to watch what happens here.
She's just so fucking fascinated by his weird ass.
Yeah.
Which is very
she's
Ravenclaw
like,
to me.
Like that. Yeah, like, she's like,
it's so funny if you rewatch that scene.
It's also very Ravenclaw that, like, the second they get together, that she's like, I understand you now, and I like it. Like, I got it now.
If you rewatch the scene with Flash and Peter, she actually steps over Peter's body on the floor and goes up to Flash, and she's like,
she does.
I was very disappointed that you didn't do your homework last time. Did you do your homework this time? Like, it was such a, like, mom energy.
She doesn't
like,
turn around and be like, are you okay?
Mommy? Sorry, mommy. Yep.
She isn't like, can you stand up? Like, she waits until he's in the classroom. She's like, you think you might have a concussion? Like, I think you should go to the nurse.
Just, like, the whole way she handles her dad, too, like, you see so many other characters when the father tells the boyfriend to stay away, where they're like, you can't tell me what to do, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like,
I'm just not doing that.
Let's see what Peter does about this.
Yeah, she's like, I'm just not
to see how this plays out.
No, I was going to say I just, like, had this realization. Like, that's what she does. She's like, Peter's on the ground. Let's see if he gets up and does the smart thing, goes to the nurse. And he doesn't go to the nurse. She's like, you gonna go to the nurse?
Watching.
Hey, you think you should go to the nurse there? Like, your head okay?
She's completely always in observation mode of everything. Yeah. So when she goes to even confront Peter after the funeral, you're like, you feel so bad for her because this girl just went to her fucking dad's funeral. Like, that's supposed to be a heavy emotional moment. And you see that in her face, fine. But she's there to confront him. Like, what are you going to do about this? What are you going to do? I need to see with my eyes what you're going to do next because I need to understand it to assess my own path forward. Like, it's so, I don't want to say clinical. It's not. It's, like, not cold at all. It's just very straightforward.
No, I do.
Very straightforward.
I do enjoy the moments that we get to, because I feel like, especially with the Ravenclaws we've had lately, who've been fucking completely unhinged, that, like, we haven't gotten a lot of this. But there are moments when Peter gets her, which I think is what it should be in a Slytherin Ravenclaw relationship. Like, when Peter, like, pulls, like, when they're fighting Lizard in the hallway of the high school, and he pulls her close, and she's like, she gets lost. She's like, oh, like, Peter's hot. Yeah. And then he's like, I'm gonna throw you out. He's like, I'm gonna throw you out the window now. And she's like, the fuck?
And then she's delighted.
She's like, oh, that worked well. Like, but he does get her, which I think is, like, a Slytherin Ravenclaw relationship where it's like the Slytherin gets got, or the Ravenclaw gets got a little, which I think is new to them and something that they like. I don't know. I think that happens when they're dating a Hufflepuff or dating a Gryffindor with emotions. I think it's hard for them to get got with, like, a logical solution. So I think they are delighted by that.
They are. They're very, like, clearly titillated by each other, like, intellectually too. It's wonderful pairing.
Or, like, I also loved when she is like, no, I'm making the lizard antidote. Like, I have to go back to the bill. And like, and he does let her go that time. It's before her dad like guilt trips him into thinking that he's going to kill her every second. But she like, I appreciated that when Lizard showed up, they didn't have her be like, oh, I can handle this. Like, I'm totally not scared. She fucking screams. Like, she's ready to go with the flamethrower. She's got a smart solution. Like, she had it all figured out. But she's like, no, I don't like
terrified.
this. Yeah, she's like, I am not into this. And also, if he grabs for me, there's nothing I can do here.
Well, it's out of her realm of control.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, I have this thing that I can use that might work, but
Yeah.
I don't have actually any power in this situation of how this is going to go.
Yeah. He does get, I'm remembering too, when they hide in the closet and he's like, really, you're going to hide me in the most cliche place possible? She's like, shut the fuck up.
Sorry.
Like,
Starting to take us to the Bermuda of hiding places.
Yeah, they're just like constant. They're like to poke at each other, and it's a very Slytherin Ravenclaw way of poking at each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's very distinct.
Yeah,
it's a distinct
all
flavor.
like the logic choice that you make. It's like you're poking at like, oh, this is the way you did that. Like that's a twist on what I would like. I don't know about that one. You're like, and it's like, and it's not. I don't know. Like anybody else, you'd get pissy because it's like a challenge to your logic. But for especially in that relationship, I think it's like it like comes across as like, oh, I'm teaching you a new way to think about things. It's not as like, I think that was a stupid way to do that.
Yeah.
I think that actually happens a lot in Slytherin and Gryffindor relationships, which they just like go have hate sex. But like, I don't,
it's because there's too much ego sometimes in those pairs. Like a Ravenclaw, not to say Ravenclaws can't have egos. Like Doctor Strange, clearly, for example, has a big ego, but it's not. It's just not super passionately being screamed at you all the time. Like it's not in everything they do. There's a quiet confidence to them that I'm just very jealous of. And when they're healthy, like Gwen, it just comes off as a very well-rounded person.
And also, like, when they're healthy with their ego, like I think Slytherins, when their ego is like they always see it as a challenge because they're like, this is always something that I need to defend because it's dependent on how I think about myself. So this always needs to be correct. And like Ravenclaws, we've said like they are this like Slytherins are very flexible in their thinking in how they move through the world. Ravenclaws also have this bit of a paradox where they're like the stiffest, most flexible house because they stand so still until you hit that specific point where they're like, oh. Yeah, and then they move like slightly to the right, and you're like, and it's
they
like,
also done like the big difference too between them and Slytherin. Like you just reminded me, Slytherin needs not outside validation at all for themselves, but like it's
internal validation.
What they do is and how you perceive it and how you respond makes them think about themselves. It makes them. It's a reflection of themselves.
Yeah,
like Ravenclaws don't have that at all. They do not give a flying fuck how you perceive them or what like. And I really don't think Gwen does either. You see that in her. If Peter cut it off, right? Like he ended it. It was pretty much done. He was respecting her father. And then as a Gryffindor, that would really piss me off and I'd have a really hard time forgiving it. And you see in the classroom when he's like, those kinds of promises are the best ones or whatever the fuck he says at the end of that movie. And she smiles. Like she's just like, yeah, let's see where this goes now. All right, let's find out what's going on. I would have turned around and slapped him. I would have been like, after everything, are you fucking kidding me? And she's just like, oh, nice. Like, what? It's crazy. I love it. It's so interesting. It's such an interesting way of just a dynamic of two people that we don't see a lot. We really don't, especially healthy ones. Especially. And I really do think Peter
think just like Peter is
pretty
like
healthy.
The like Slytherin you'd find in your friend group. I think Gwen's a pretty good representation of like the Ravenclaw. Like, you know, not like the stereotypical like super study like, you know, books or like the Luna Lovegood, like what's going on? Like why
or unhinged.
Yeah, or
like
unhinged. She's like she's like they live amongst you. Like that's who they are. Like
we gotta like put a tagline on this like
Spider-Man among us.
But yeah, I was delighted to find that she was a Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
Among us. That's what my students say, among us. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't get it. My daughter's begun saying that. Among us? That's sus, bruh? I'm like, you're 5. All right, get off. Let's block YouTube. But yes, clearly a Ravenclaw, which I was delighted about because she is a non-unhinged one.
Yeah.
Very nice to finally have one of those in the mix. I don't think we have very many.
Dash wasn't that unhinged.
Who?
Dash. He had like
No, he's not.
he had issues, which
Yeah,
Gwen
he has
doesn't
issues.
really.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, guys, we're going back to 2020. We're in 2022.
Hang
We
on.
haven't
Now
had
I'm
a normal
gonna
Ravenclaw
be
in
like,
2
there
years.
has to be a non-unhinged Ravenclaw. Like what?
Carla's listening to this like, excuse me.
Yeah,
I
well,
ain't
Carla
Carla.
is, but
Talking about fictional ones
Yeah.
that you're
All right.
sorting on the
Clint
show.
was a bit more grounded.
Who?
Yes.
Clint is not.
Yeah, but he's a Weasley. He's got his
like,
weird shit.
He's like secretly unhinged. It's
Yeah.
almost more unhinged than the clearly unhinged
yeah,
ones.
it's a
really.
quiet crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
Like,
Because it's a secret unhinged.
Yes.
It's lurking beneath the surface.
Quiet murderous.
you're like, oh,
it's
nice,
Jesus.
a normal man, and then he's like,
Whereas someone like Blackbeard just wears it on him at all times. He's like, I could switch between this, man. I could go from really fucking crazy and really, really normal, back and forth.
man, even Phoebe and Monica aren't unhinged. Like, are
fucking,
not
fucking
unhinged.
Jack Sparrow,
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
unhinged.
They're all.
Mhm.
They all. Oh my gosh.
They're wild, man. They're wild. All of them.
Which I think is why I immediately, like, it
Hans
didn't
from
immediately
Die
clock
Hard
her.
was
Because
also
I was like, she's not, like, crazy.
yeah,
She's
No,
not
she's
all
not.
over the place,
Yeah.
and she's not, like, super extra chaos
And-
demon. So
Yeah.
which is how I normally identify
She's
Ravenclaw.
I know. It's so interesting.
and
Like,
Sarah.
she's really just always
Patrick.
watching and
Patrick's
learning.
not unhinged.
Yeah,
from
he's not
Schitt's
unhinged.
Creek.
You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Patrick.
that's true.
Those are the last normal ones. Patrick and Stevie was like a little weird, but I don't think she's unhinged.
They could live among you too.
yes, they could. The Patrick and the Stevies live among you.
But I think she's probably one of my favorite iterations of a media
Stevie?
Ravenclaw.
or
No,
Gwen.
Gwen. I
Yeah.
really, really enjoy her. I think that's
Yeah.
why I'm so pissed she died, because I really liked her fucking character as a
Yeah.
standalone
Yeah.
character. Like outside of Peter, whatever. If she had a movie, she got a power, whatever. I'd love to watch it. She's so
I
interesting.
think I have heard that the second Into the Spider-Verse is more of Gwen Stacy's story.
No,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah.
I mean, I'm specifically guessing speaking to Emma Stone's performance, like the way they
Mhm.
wrote this Gwen, because they are all different, but somehow the same. Let's see. Let's find out. Actually, that'll be interesting to see with that Gwen. We'll have to test our theory, Lauren.
Uh-huh.
We can't be
I
wrong.
already know.
So
I already know.
I can't remember, so you'll have to know. All right. So now all we have left is Mr. Harry, who
had about 20 minutes of screen time in this.
Yeah, so we don't have much to say
We do
about him.
not.
Mm-mm.
I mean, truly,
He
and if
comes
you're
back
listening-
and is like shoved in at the end of the second movie as a Green Goblin, and
Yeah. Well, actually, okay. So now I'm gonna put Hannah on the spot. Hannah, you like this Harry? Tell me why.
I do love this Harry because I fucking hate James.
he's
Franco
very emo.
Harry.
He's a very
He's
emo
very
Harry.
emo.
Yes.
He's a very
He
like
would be best
appealing
friends
to
with
me as an
Bully
elder
Maguire.
emo
I see.
millennial.
I get this now.
Yeah, but like I think it's just like the chemistry that he has with Peter, which I'm like, oh my god, this is actually
It's
what their
interesting.
friendship is like supposed to look like. Like it's like lighthearted and like they actually like each other and have chemistry. I don't know, like
Yeah, the Franco one,
we're
the Franco and Pete one. Oh man,
I mean, they have more chemistry than Kirsten Dunst and Toby
It's
do,
true.
but
you're right.
still
It's
not
true.
great. But I just love that like Peter shows up and Harry's like,
They
oh
go
my
to feed
god,
the
yeah,
ducks.
like immediately, and then they just go on a date for an
Yeah.
entire day.
Yeah.
So
That's
like yeah,
cute.
before he's unhinged, and even when he is like starting to be unhinged, I'm like I kind of still understand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his whole thing is it's understandable for why he's
Yeah,
so angry.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I was very. This is like the one plot point that I was like, when he goes to see his dad right before he dies, and his
Yes.
dad's like, "Are you feeling the shaking?" And like his dad took like 60 years to die, and Harry's dad
Yes.
tells him that he's dying, and then all of a sudden Harry is actually dying.
well,
I
yeah,
was
like-
that is the weird thing because he's like, well, I started having symptoms at your age,
Right.
but it's like I think what it's supposed to be is that his dad was taking that stuff in
Okay.
some sort of microdosing, and that is
Okay.
how he lived so
Oh.
long, and
Okay.
like you know,
did
the
not get
research
that
was
impression.
supposed
It
to
was
be
just
happening.
like his dad said he
Yeah.
was dying, and all of a sudden Harry psychologically and physically took on the.
Yeah, no, because I did just watch that movie and I had the same question and I
Yeah.
thought it through and I was like, I think this is what we're supposed to gather because otherwise it makes no fucking sense.
No.
Well, and his dad still lived like
Yeah.
a decade after Peter's dad up and fucked off. So like,
Well, he's an interesting character, and he is a very emo boy.
yes,
And this is a big problem. It's a big problem that he has to combat. It's fucking scary. He's
Mhm.
literally battling the
Yep.
possibility of death. So
certain death. It's a regenerative
certain death,
disease. Yeah.
Yep.
So you can understand, like you put him against Franco's Harry, who's so fucking wild and unhinged about it. He's like, bring me the head of Spider-Man. You killed my father. And this Harry's like, yo, let me see if his blood will work. Like, that seems like a really good solution to my problem. And Peter's like,
and Peter responds accordingly to it. Like, he doesn't, he's not like Toby's Peter, who's like,
I know. Because Toby's Peter's an asshole. He's like, I can't do that. I can only get him to pose for pictures.
No, Andrew shows up and is like, my blood will do worse. Like, it won't help. It'll just do worse things to you. And then, Harry has the reaction that his house would at being told this immediately. Will be and like, well, but also like, you pin your hopes on something and you're like, this has to work or I have nothing else. And it, like, I don't know. I have to. So what we see of Harry, we see that this board is immediately like, we're going to try to kick you out. And he handles that really well. And I think it was similar to the James Franco in the second movie, Harry, where his dad dies and he takes over the company and he does a good job. Like, he fills that role. He's like, oh, you guys are like corporate assholes who are like undermining my authority. Gonna nip that in the bud immediately. I am the owner of this company. And he's like, and this is my assistant, whatever her name is, like Sarah or something. He's like, you all now work for Sarah because Sarah works directly for me. Assholes, get out of my office. Like, he very much fills that role immediately, like as soon as he's told that he needs to.
Yeah. Well, okay, so what house?
Oh, well, he's a Hufflepuff. I mean,
there you go.
I mean, spoilers for everybody. If you've heard us sort a character in a different world before, chances are, unless
the
something
other Harry,
crazy
I feel
happens.
Is more. Well, I mean, once I put the pieces together, and I thought about Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because he's the baseline by which I understand Hufflepuffs now.
Angry Hufflepuffs,
I fucking get it now.
It's an incredibly unhinged way to understand Hufflepuffs.
I know, but it's how I understand.
It's not normal. What she understands the angry ones a little easier because I feel like that's like a door she can walk in on where she's like, I get anger. The ones who are like healthy and normal, same with like healthy Gryffindors, she's like, I don't get it, man. She's like,
I just can't. I can't either. I either don't like it, so I ignore it and I don't want to assess it, or I really just can't relate to it. So I have to either, like Ravenclaws and Slytherins, I don't relate to at all half the time, but I enjoy them and I find them hilarious. So I can sit there and really think about it. But if I think of like a healthy Hufflepuff or a healthy Gryffindor, I'm like, where's the flavor? Where's the spice?
You mean you're like processing emotions and responding accordingly? Like
don't want to spend any time here. So... he's not a healthy.
No, he's not. His response was not correct. Like,
no, it's not.
Peter sits outside, like he leaves and then stays by the window in order to listen to Harry swearing and smashing things. Peter,
oh my god.
He's like, this is my punishment. I have to hear how much he hates me.
It's a little sus. Do you have any notes for Harry? Hannah likes to take notes. I'm interested in seeing.
I super don't because I wasn't even sure of his house. Like I literally was like, he's an emotion house, and that's all I had. And I put daddy issues, and I was like, but that seems too easy.
Anyway.
I know. I was like, I could go in either direction.
Just not Ravenclaw somehow.
No, but like, a very good relationship. Even Blackbeard, who has that thing with his dad, he's like, I've got it handled though. I just hate Kraken. Like,
it brings up for Ravenclaws. It brings up like a lot of emotion actually, where you don't see in other things their relationship with their parents. And if it's negative, sometimes like Charlie, you'll see it manifest in like a weird way at the end there, like
or Blackbeard when he's like, I am terrified of the Kraken. And you're like, what?
Yeah, they're just weird about it. Yeah. But it's like never any daddy issues. It's so interesting. So we need to rule that out for Harry.
The one note that I did write, which like I said, I didn't really know for sure, but I did write, like, one of the big things that stuck out to me is when Peter shows up after Spider-Man shows up and is like, I can't give you my blood. And he's like, it's me. Like, it's Peter, it's me. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, loyalty house. So that makes sense. But I did write, but it's me in my notes.
That's true.
Yeah.
And after so long.
I was going to say, like, it's almost like opposite of Othering, where it's been 10 years and Harry's like totally ready for Pete. Like, Peter's fine with it because he's a Slytherin and you can leave people for any amount of time and then come back and like you're going to have the same connection.
It's very Thor.
Yeah. It's like opposite.
Thor with Loki.
It's like opposite Othering, where it's like, Yeah.
But it's me.
Yeah. Wait, yeah.
So I know.
And I'm ready to take you into my life again because you showed up. So like, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
yeah, no, the one thing I had for him that I was saying before we started the podcast was when he shows up as Green Goblin and Peter's like, oh, Harry, what'd you do, man? And Harry's like, it's like, I am what you made me, because, you know, he went and shot himself up with the green juice because he couldn't get Peter's blood. And it's like, like, how is this Peter's fault? Like, I was like, it's literally like, look at me, Peter. Look at the consequences of my own actions. Like, you're going to pay for this. Like, what, man? Like,
Look what I made me, you made me, I do.
And you can, I mean, I don't know if it's like he immediately went for Gwen. Like he was like, oh, that's Peter because Gwen's right here and I'm not an idiot. And then and then he's like, guess I should go for Gwen. I don't know. That speaks to Hufflepuff's
it sure does, because he told him a little bit about Gwen. You see
he
the scene where they're talking about,
and he talks to Gwen in the elevator where he's like, so what's going on there? Like, that's weird.
Yeah, and he actually says Peter's always complicated. Interesting assessment of the friend you haven't seen in a really long time.
Yeah, the last time you saw this man as an 8-year-old, you're like, yeah, he's going to be romantically complicated.
I actually know this for sure.
This 8-year-old has a lot of
his playground romances were very, very weird. Like, you know, like
yeah. You see how there's like an ego in the confidence there, even too. Hufflepuffs have it too. Like Ravenclaw, the ones who don't fucking have it.
Because actually, you know, I'm thinking about it. Like what he was doing in the elevator, I thought was so weird. But you know, he was fitting Gwen into the role that he had preconceived because of his conversation with Peter, right?
Right.
So I don't think he even really saw Gwen correctly, because he immediately was like damsel in distressing her. Right. And it's like, that's what he did when he was like, in order to get to Peter, I'm going to get Gwen. And that was a good read on Peter. But Gwen like could have
not a good read on
handled
Gwen.
her. Yeah, she was like, fucking put me down, dick. Like, you know, like she's not freaking MJ up in the taxi in the Venom webbing. Like, what do I do?
Oh
like,
my god!
Tell me you love me, Peter.
I can't.
Fucking Mary Jane.
Save me on TV, and I'll know you love me.
Oh my god, I can't. Please don't make me go back to that headspace where I have to think about her.
I can't ever watch those movies again. It was so painful.
Rachel's like, yeah, I'd do this.
No.
No.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't want anybody to save you on national TV.
I would never say to a man, tell me you love me.
No.
Tell me you love me? You're on the opposite side of the Gryffindor scale from me, baby boo. That's never coming out of my fucking mouth. I will need to know why, and I'll like obsess over it maybe to myself, and I'll like freak out. I'll be like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? Okay, fine. Maybe I'm a piece of shit. Blah, 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 blah. I'll internalize it and make it like I'm the problem. She's straight up like, there's actually nothing wrong with me. You're the problem. You're the dick. So maybe figure that out, and then I'll immediately take you back, and I'll be fine.
Very disappointed, because this was my favorite thing about James Franco's Harry after we pointed it out to each other, where he fucking ducks down, so when Peter turns around, he's not in the fucking cafe anymore.
Little fuck.
I'm really upset that this Harry didn't have a dramatic ass.
Yeah,
he was like true. Overly openly dramatic. He wasn't like sneaky dramatic.
He's emo.
Like, yes,
that's the difference.
Emo,
it's an emo drama.
Yeah, he is.
He's very emo. Well, it's a very emo introduction. It's like he shows up and he's, you know, in the throes of his father dying and like not feeling accepted or loved by him ever.
Right.
He's got like literally nothing. Like he's totally unmoored. He's got nothing tethering him down. And then Peter shows up, and then that
friend.
And then that doesn't go well because the friend doesn't do what he thinks that he should do.
It's what I would do. Come on, it's me.
It's me.
And so, no, not a Gryffindor among them. Besides, maybe Uncle Ben's a Gryffindor.
I think he is.
He might be.
I think
he's the only Gryffindor.
I don't know what other house is gonna fucking guilt complex you from the grave.
Oh my god, it's so bad. Ghost guilt.
Ghost guilt.
He's pretty, but they kill off the Gryffindor pretty early in both of the series, and you gotta.
Yeah, because he's used to like angst on the Slytherin.
Yes.
Like, no, my moral compass. It's gone.
Oh my god. I need to see this in
this
form.
All I have is this one line about responsibility to live the rest of my life by. This is how I'll make decisions morally from now on.
Yep.
Oh my god.
This is my entire moral compass. This thing right here.
Jesus. That's actually correct.
Which is why
That's
I
actually what happens.
almost think Tom's got a better setup because May said it to him in a completely different
He's
context.
a healthy ass Slytherin.
In a completely different context, she gives him that
Yeah.
pearl of wisdom.
You know what? Toby and Andrew both don't internalize Uncle Ben's like they kind of make it about themselves.
Yes.
Where Tom doesn't do that with May. He really is just upset she's gone.
It's the help of the other Slytherins too, right? Because if he had gone off and killed Willem Dafoe immediately, it would have been like a whole. It would have been. It would have been what Toby and Andrew went through when they were searching for the guy who shot their dad or whatever. But like the other Peters stop him and like temper him and are like, you like need to put thought into this. It can't just be like a thoughtless revenge, you know.
Right.
Because it's not going to make you feel better and it's not going to change anything.
Damn.
Yeah.
Which
it would have been a very different story. If
I think
it would have gone very differently.
Tom's Peter, even though he's in a worse position than either of the other two. Well, I don't know if he's in a worse position
Tom
than
also
Andrew.
has Iron Man. He also has a lot of different influences the other Peters didn't get.
So,
but he had him.
Actually, I'm going to say Tony is almost like his
he had the fucking Avengers. It's like a different.
Tony's almost like his guilt from the grave, dead Gryffindor moral compass. But
look at that! They all have one.
And also, his MJ is a much better sounding board, I think, than Kirsten Dunst's MJ. So I think he's pretty well set up.
Fucking thing.
Although he's lost her, but you know, he'll get her back.
Not gonna just go start dating Ned. Like Emmy just dated Harry. What the fuck? She just started dating Harry, and Harry was just like, yeah, I know you're in love with her.
Harry dated them before Peter, remember too.
But he knew Peter was in love with her.
But Peter wouldn't make a fucking move. So Harry was like, Peter was telling Harry,
is that,
go hit on her for me.
That Mary Jane knew how Peter felt the entire time. She was like getting off on it. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Okay? I see it in your unhealthy Gryffindor eyes. I recognize it. But anyway, again, stop making me talk about Mary Jane. This isn't about Mary Jane. I like the Amazing Spider-Man. I like Gwen. And she shouldn't have died. I don't care what the comic said. And that comic writer was wrong.
I mean,
comic writers are wrong a lot.
Oh, she dies?
Yeah, that's what happens in comics. It's supernatural. If somebody dies, they come back.
No one perma stays dead in comics, whether they come back in that run or when they reboot it eventually. And the character.
Do you think they were going to bring her back for the movie?
I have no idea.
I mean, Shailene Woodley was cast as MJ, so I assume
So good thing they ended where they did.
Yeah, so they can do a better job with it now.
They could bring her back in the third one now.
Do you think they'd work together?
She should fucking be Spider-Gwen. I don't care.
She should be Spider-Gwen. That would be so cool. Live action
she's still an amazing actor. She could absolutely jump right back into that role.
I think she could. Yeah.
Andrew did it. She can do it.
No, where she's been. What's she been doing? What's she been doing?
Cruella DeVille.
Oh, that's right.
She's still acting. She's doing shit.
She's out here.
I couldn't remember the last thing she did. Because, we had that early 2010s where she was like in every fucking movie along with like Jennifer Lawrence and
Zombieland. Yeah. All right. Well, not a Gryffindor to be found. They kill them off. And that's what you get. You get a Slytherin, a Ravenclaw, and a Hufflepuff. I'm most excited about the Ravenclaw.
Yes.
Because we finally got one in a Spider-Verse. It's great.
Yes.
And just the Slytherin Ravenclaw relationship is
so fun.
So cool. Yes. I love it.
Yeah. Well, this has been a wonderful
Tell you right now, Miles Morales is not Peter Parker. He is not just another Spider-Man. He is a different person. Well, okay, but I don't want people to start like thinking they've got a hack now. It's not. It's not. This is a different person. This is not a Spider-Man equals Slytherin. It's a Peter Parker equals Slytherin. So.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like just because Sam put on the cap, like he has the cap name.
Yeah.
He's not a Slytherin.
No, he's a Hufflepuff.
Right. So it's usually like it's different. They can be the same superhero and have that whatever.
They have different motivations.
And totally different.
Yep.
Totally different humans. So you actually don't know shit about Miles Morales. How about that? Come back next year.
I don't know shit about Miles Morales. That's in October it comes out. So probably the end of the year, maybe.
What?
Yeah.
No,
who are you going to sort for that?
It's not a Marvel movie. It's a Sony movie.
Yeah, it's a Sony movie.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant our episode.
Oh, like, I don't know when that's coming out. The movie comes out in October.
Right. Okay. Well, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it.
But
I'm sure you already have them sorted. She already has them sorted.
I don't, actually. I haven't really thought about them.
Liar.
Okay, well.
Yeah. She doesn't watch media without doing that. And whether it's conscious or subconscious, I know she's got it. All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Hannah, I hope this was a delightful
Everything you
birthday
dreamed
episode
for your birthday.
Everything
yeah.
you dreamed of.
I love talking about Andrew's Spider-Man. It's one of my favorite things.
He's
So.
delightful.
Yes, he's the best. Do more Andrew Spider-Man movies, Sony. You're definitely listening to this.
Yeah. We know
Good
they
for
are.
Hannah, you bunch of bitches. Let's go.
Okay. Rob was listening to our episode last week, we know. So.
He was. We were talking to him. Rob was listening. Someone else
Rob,
famous was listening.
along with Carla and Meg.
Right.
Great listeners.
Yep.
Totally.
Yeah. Two
Shout
of
out
them
to all of you, 'cause I
were
know you're
more
listening to
impressive
this
than the
too.
other one. Yeah. Thank you, Rob, for coming back.
That's right.
Next episode is Thor.
Woo!
We already did
Yeah.
Thor, but Thor: Love and Thunder. So it's going to be
The ladies.
Valkyrie, yes, Lady Thor, Natalie Portman, and Jane Foster. And I don't know who are. We're going to watch the movie. I don't know who else we might do.
Let's not.
Yeah.
We're not married to any.
Well, we're married to
we'll
those
talk about
two,
it.
but yeah.
Why don't you do Korg?
I was thinking Korg, but if somebody more interesting shows up, and if I don't know, is Christian Bale's villain going to be like fascinating? I don't know.
I
The
hope
God Killer?
so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
just
Like
do
it's
Jane's
Christian
sister.
Bale. I hope they're giving him like some
she
meat
doesn't
to
have a
work
sister.
with.
You mean
Jane's
Darcy?
little sister. Yeah.
That's not her sister. It's
That's
her
not
intern.
her sister. It's her fucking assistant.
It's her intern.
In my head, there's sister.
Is it her intern?
It's her intern. No, it's,
You can't
Darcy
really-
is an intern, remember?
Oh, no,
and then she declares
okay.
herself not an intern,
You're
and she
really
gets her
gonna
own
tell me they're
intern
not
in
like
Thor 2.
sisters. That's what
You
you're gonna do
remember?
right now. You're gonna
Yes.
tell me they don't have sister vibes. Come on,
Shut up,
they're
Rachel.
sisters.
No, I
She-
don't remember because I've never made it through
Okay,
one
in-
whole screening of Thor 2 without
In the
falling
first
asleep.
movie,
Me either.
in the first movie, Darcy is their intern who doesn't know a shit thing about astrophysics. Like
Okay,
she's just
that's
there.
why I was like, she's
Yeah.
an assistant.
No, and then in Thor 2, she hires that little British boy as her intern, and Jane is like, "The fuck are you doing? You're an intern."
I thought that's why she was her sister, because like she doesn't fucking know anything. Like, why else would you be there?
Are they just
I
friends?
can't-
And then
no,
she
they
just
weren't
hired a
friends.
friend?
I can't. She like faked her resume or something. Like I can't. It was really funny. I can't remember what it was. And then like they couldn't
Are
get rid
you
of her. Or,
serious?
Yeah, they're not sisters, Rachel.
The fuck? What's her name?
Darcy.
Darcy.
Close friend and coworker.
Thanks, Marvel
Weird.
Wiki.
That's so fucking strange. The
I don't
whole
know
time
if
I
she's
would've
going to
told
be
you.
in this movie because
But
she
I
was
have to tell you
in
guys, I have to
WandaVision.
tell you, this is a hugely asked question online. A lot of people think that they are related. So I don't feel dumb about that one. They seem fucking
I
related.
don't know if she's going to be in this movie because she was just in WandaVision because she's actually got her astrophysicist degree.
Right, she's
Yeah.
with a
Wrong.
sword.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
All right, well,
Yeah.
maybe Darcy. We'll talk about this off air.
Yes. Anyway, Thor.
Anyway, all right.
Gay women. Yay.
Including Thor.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of
Absolutely.
lesbians.
Yep. We'll talk about Thor again. You can't stop us. We will talk about how Hufflepuff he is in this movie. I don't care.
Absolutely, we will. Okay, well, you need to right now when you stop listening to this and you hit pause, you need to go over to the where you rate things on
Scroll
Apple
down.
and go give us
Yep. 5
some
stars.
5 stars. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Not 4. Very important. I know math is difficult. It needs to be 5. Thank you so much. Also, come talk to us on Twitter. Come talk to us on Instagram.
I love when people talk to
_pod.
us on Twitter, especially when it's somebody we haven't talked to before. I'm like, oh my God, you're listening? Like, hi.
But we also love the people we talk to.
Yes. Also, yes. It's the same thing. I'm like, oh my God, you're still listening? Like, like it's the same thing.
I can't believe people are still here. I can't
Yeah.
believe new people are finding us.
Exactly. It's exactly
yeah,
it.
we want to talk. So come find us, and if you like one of us better than the other, you can find our personal handles in the bio, and we'll accept that conversation. So pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah.
And thank you
two
to
Twitters
Hannah.
with very different vibes.
Thank you to Hannah for being here and for all the work you do. And
Thank
happiest
you.
Yes.
of births to you.
Thank you.
Happy birth.
21st birthday.
Yeah. So
21.
exciting to be 21 and be able to drink.
Yep. So
Yeah.
exciting to have like a whole decade in front of me before I'm 30.
Yeah.
Just be really
Amazing.
responsible. Don't do anything that I would do. And you'll have a great life ahead of you. Happy birthday. All right, guys. See you on Thor. Wish you'd see me on Thor.
Bye.
I
Yeah.
wanna be on Thor. Bye. Thank you for listening to Sort of Brilliant. If our sorting choices inspired any rage or excitement, we'd love to hear from you. We're open to feedback, suggestions for characters to sort, and solid counter-arguments with citations.
Never forget your citations. You can find us hanging out on Twitter and Instagram at SOB_pod or shoot us an email at sortofbrilliant@gmail.com.
And since we're not above begging, please rate and subscribe to Sort of Brilliant on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please share our posts on social media, and if you're a Gryffindor, maybe you'll inspire sorting fights among your own friend group.
The theme music is Hot Shot by Scott Holmes. Can't wait to sort with you again next time. Bye!